What is up, guys, and welcome back to Late to the Party.
Hey.
Where we fuck our fucking faces, uncle fuckers. Anyways, this is where we take a look at movies that are over 10 years old, and we take a look at them through goggles of some pretty badass individuals and some good friends. And I had the pleasure and honor of doing Predator a couple weeks ago, and now I get to host the super underappreciated, needs a sequel, ahead of its time, South Park, bigger, longer, and came out June 30th, 1999. Had a budget of $21 million, and it made $83 million at the box office, which is saying something. And I think up until recently, it held the title for like most profitable animated movie, if I'm not mistaken. So,
What took its place?
I think it was Sausage Party.
For reals?
Yeah, it was like R-rated animated movies. It was, it took a while for another one to come along. So, man, there's so much about this movie that I just kind of really just want to jump into it. There's so much. I never appreciated it, or I never really took the time to sit down, and now thanks to you guys, I got to sit down and really just analyze it and really appreciate it for what it is. As I stated earlier, definitely ahead of its time, and I still feel like it's a product of today as much as it was in 1999. Those themes that it tackles, a lot of the issues that it brings up are still relevant. So just want to get into it. Let's go with let's start with the Scots, since we always end stuff with them. Let's start with them today. What did you guys think about this whole this movie as a cautionary tale of censorship?
That means you.
No, you go ahead. You take this one, honey. It's a cautionary tale. Yeah, I don't like. I'm not a fan of censorship. I never have been. Being a publisher, it makes it. It's. Satire is their thing, though. So they did it well, and they did it in such a way that you didn't feel like you were being preached to. Go ahead.
Trey Parker and Matt Stone are always on the forefront of doing this kind of thing to kind of fight against censorship. I might not be appreciative of all the content that they generate, but I'm at least appreciative of the fact that they're standing up for people's right to say what they want to say, whether or not you agree with it. So in that way, I think this movie will be timeless, at least as long as they allow it to still be shown on some channel somewhere.
Lego, what was your take on this and their idea and what they're trying to say against I don't know, censorship and what was your takeaway?
Yeah, I'm kind of right there. I think probably with everyone here, censorship I think is pretty lame most of the time. I liked that Cartman was able to start blasting fools and save the day with his cussing and just saying what he wanted to. That's not proof. That's concrete proof that if you try to repress someone, it's gonna come back to bite you. So I don't know. I enjoyed this movie. It's fucking fun from start to finish. I mean, every fucking song is like a bop, and it's a good time. It's a fun movie, and it's got a good message. So,
all right, Nate. On top of this being, there's so much against censorship. What did you take? What was your takeaway? Like, I kept, identifying with the theme of bad parenting and the lack of taking responsibility for shit. So, what did you get out from that reoccurring theme?
Yeah, that helicopter mom on steroids, Kyle's mom, the song was appropriate. That Cartman, whoa, Kyle's mom's a big fat bitch with the biggest bitch in the whole wide world. It's you know, it's crazy because I remember when the left was the side that was against censorship and, you know, for people's rights to say and do whatever they wanted to say. And it's crazy how the script has flipped. And I was even like, the movie was even older than I remembered it being because the Clinton was a president at the time. And I'm like, holy moly, wow, this is that old. But, you know, that's a lot of presidents ago. So, yeah, but that was the biggest thing to me. I was like, wow, I remember when it was the conservatives that wanted to censor stuff. And that's not the case anymore. The conservatives are the ones who are trying to not get censored. So it's just a story of how times change and the script flips. As far as kids and family and those values and what you do with you know, I mean, I never hide my kids too often. I mean, if there's some crazy, you know, sex scenes and things and we're watching something and that kind of thing pops up, I just kind of turn it. Or if it gets too gory, you know, and I watch horror movies and whatnot, it's too. I remember we had Miles in the room in Vegas Con watching Nightmare on Elm Street and The Shining in the room by himself while we were downstairs gambling when he was like 10 years old. And it was I don't think that hiding them from these things makes those things go away. So you just got to let them see those things. And then as far as like, even, you know, as conservative as I am, you know, I'm still super like, my kids don't have bedtimes. They go to bed whenever they want to go to bed. And if they get bad grades, then they're in trouble for getting bad grades and not managing themselves. I manage the expectations, and if they can, you know, I manage them the way I like to be managed myself. I don't want my boss coming and telling me what to do. Tell me what results you want, and let me do it my way, and then manage me by my results. And I do the same thing for my children. So, you know, and I know a lot of people that probably wouldn't agree with that, but my kids are all they scored the highest in all of their prospective tests in the schools that they go to, and they all have perfect grades and whatnot. And I just try not to hide them from anything. I let them see the world how it is, and I answer every question that they have, you know, the best I can, you know, through a Christian perspective. So that's the a long answer for your question, I suppose.
No, it's good. This movie has so much to dissect that I never realized it until I watched it and really just thought about everything. Backing off of that, what was your whole opinion on the Mothers Against Canada, which is obviously from back in the day of what is it, Million Moms, or the Million Mom Coalition, Association, whatever? What was your?
Was that at me? Because you've been cutting out like this whole time.
Yes, I started off Isaac.
Okay. Man, you know, just blame Canada for all your problems. Like, I've always hated like those helicopter moms when I was growing up. Like, I didn't have that type of mom, so when I knew kids like that, I was just like, dude, poor kids, fucking weenie. Since I was a kid, and it sucks for you that you can't watch it and go to the movies with us. Still go. Don't be a pussy. I don't know. It's just, I don't really have a take on it. We've already had this answered different way. I don't want to keep beating that drum.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you brought up that point of the fact that kids, they're always gonna find a way. There's no way that you can stop them from watching or from doing something. You can try as much, like even the kids outsmarted the the kiosk guy, because they ended up getting a homeless guy to buy them the tickets and to join. Which, you know, there's a lot of subtlety in this movie, and that's one of those things that it's like kids will find a way. And adding on top of the whole Moms Against Canada, when the whole music sequence is going on, did anybody catch the two parents abandoned their kid to join the cause?
Yeah.
What are the priorities in this?
No, it's the mom mentality. You see the mob going, so you forget what's going on, and they just went and fucking, we're moms. We should go too. And it's like, wait, your kids are back there. And it's like, no, fuck that. We're going this way.
Yeah, and you know, touching on a few weeks ago, we saw Clockwork Orange and the therapy that Alex goes through, where it's like when he has those impure thoughts, he ends up almost getting sick. And I kind of saw a little relation with when they implant the V chip in Cartman. But the irony of the entire thing is that the V chip stood for violence. And it had nothing to do with violent content. It was every time he swore. So every time he cussed, that he ended up getting shocked, which I don't know. I think a couple of weeks ago, we were also how we're so quick to, you know, the people shooting each other. And upon doing the research, I found out that I guess the MPAA, which is the, I don't know, what is it? The music, the
Motion Picture Association bullshit.
Farts.
Yeah, those dudes, they had more of a problem with all the cussing in the movie, but they were okay when the shoulders are shooting each other. Like, that wasn't the problem. It wasn't the violence. It was the swearing, which I thought was the most hilarious thing. And the addition of the V chip, which had nothing to do with what the hell they had the problems with. So yeah, that was an interesting point. But were there any other subtle things? This is just kind of an open question. What other subtle things that you guys noticed that upon, you know, really thinking about it, like, oh shoot.
Yeah, a donkey raping shit eater. Who comes up with that term? And then I think this was the first time rim job was ever said in a movie.
And only Cartman's mom knew the answer to that.
What the heck is a rim job?
Oh, well, you see.
And then they find the Duma Shaista video of her later on too.
Oh yeah.
Right.
This is all stuff ahead of its time, man. Those were all things that were never talked about in movies, and it was in an awesome cartoon that had singing and dancing.
I had forgotten how creepy Saddam Hussein was in this movie.
Oh god!
And I think this was before he was tried and executed, right?
Yeah, it was way before he died.
They already had him in hell raping the devil. Definitely ahead of the curve.
And you know, talk about being ahead of the curve, like and a setup for things to come, and you know, wars to come, and if I mean this is before 9/11. This is before Iraq becomes the scapegoat, and you know, Bush isn't even president yet, and already Saddam's, they're setting us up for Saddam to be in hell raping Satan.
Hey, I couldn't help but think about you with all this with Satan and Saddam. Did you ever feel sorry for Satan?
Yeah. Yeah, especially because, you know, in that final scene when they're in bed together and he keeps like whipping out like another dildo from under the sheets, and I'm like, oh my goodness, the poor devil.
He's saying his big speech as the devil, and he's like, oh yeah, you're really getting me hard. I love when you get all biblical.
I think he just going around, I one of my favorite, just a pretty nice song.
Dude, we were cutting out the whole time. All we heard was
oh,
it's a great song.
I was saying he probably has one of my favorite songs, which is the Up There. Which is quite beautiful, if we're being honest. It was a really nice song, and the voice actor nailed it perfectly. I know we usually talk about our favorite scenes, but Jesus Christ, man, this soundtrack is also part of the reason why this movie was so fantastic. Scott, what was your guys' favorite song?
Kyle's mom is Big Fat Bitch. But
Yeah.
it's especially at the very end.
Yeah.
When he brings that song home. And
I really mean it.
And then he turns around and she's standing there, and the last line of that song is fuck.
I like how they do it. Like it's a small world. It's flipped
Yeah.
to like a small world
That
with
was-
different
yeah.
languages. I mean, it goes all the way to Africa.
That's definitely my favorite, but the Blame Canada song kind of hit me in the feels because Robin Williams did that for the Oscars, I think, the following year. And you know, anytime I think about Robin Williams, I get sad.
I think it should have won the Academy Award, and I think them giving it to Tarzan was a cop out. They just didn't want to do it. They had a whole war going on behind the scenes. Lego, favorite song, buddy?
It's easy, okay? So good. So good. And again, like I love the end, the way it kind of like resolves where, you know, all the kids join in and they're like, you should never say fuck no, fuck no. And it's like, dude, they spent this whole song telling you not to cuss, and then it resolves with them all cussing, and that's like a joyous occasion. I'm like, dude, that's subtle too. And that's really fucking funny.
Yeah, it was. Isaac, favorite song, buddy?
It's gonna be Uncle Fucker because it's the one that sets the tone for the movie, and like you know what you're in for, and you're just like, goodness gracious, and everybody in the theater is getting so mad and walking out and just leaving like, oh, what do you think? They're Canadians. And I remember when I was watching that movie in theaters, it kind of felt like that because a lot of people seemed like they were turned off about it, but I was just dying laughing. I don't know what time I went to go watch this movie, but it wasn't as loud of laughter as it was coming from me, and that song will always stick out. And then I heard it in Spanish in the version I watched this time around, and it took me back, and it came out in a different version. It was just still as funny.
How was it in Spanish specifically?
Just the language is all different, and
No, but I get it. But what did they exactly say? Like,
know what
cállate la boca, tío.
I to you guys, and I can't even sing it still because I need to rewatch it again so I can get that song going in Spanish for the reading of it.
Favorite, buddy?
What?
I think you want your favorite song, Nate.
My favorite song? Oh, Liz too. I said it earlier in Liz too. I even sung part of it. Whoa! Hi, mom's a big fat bitch. Bitch, you all the boys and girls. Monday she's a bitch, Tuesday she's a bitch, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, bitch. I put it on for my kids in the car while we were driving, and some bitch cut me off, and I was like singing it, and they're like, "Oh, that's funny. You made that song up." I was like, "No, it was actually from a movie," and I put it on for them in the car, and then they're like, "Bitch, bitch, 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 bitch." I had to bring that one back.
You know, I hate to cut out on this though, because I feel it's kind of ridiculous sometimes that so many of these studios have to almost walk on eggshells and be careful to not offend anybody. And the fact that these guys did it so well, if you had to, you know, make an argument for this movie, Scott, what would your argument be?
You mean for the movie in terms of allowing it to be played?
Yes, and like for like, you know, I personally feel like this movie's important. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but you know, yeah, just to you know, asking the question how you phrased it. How would you sell this movie today?
Oh, it's a fun movie. I mean, I'm not gonna go, hey, you know, talk to my 6-year-old nephew and be like, come on, let's go watch this movie. I mean,
What?
It's a fun movie. It's a great movie to watch, and you know, to have fun with it. If you know the sense of humor that's coming out of there, that's the thing. Because there's some friends that I would never sit down and say, oh, you should watch this because it's really good. Because they're not gonna appreciate it. They're not gonna like it. They're too, like, they're gonna be too offended by it. But you know, for me, I'm me, so I like this. it's play to your audience. It's gonna offend some. It's gonna, a lot of other people are gonna appreciate it. It just depends on and knowing your audience and who to recommend it to. We watch South Park at my dad's house when we're packaging stuff to ship comic books, so we're constantly watching it and having it around. Of course, like I said, we don't have my 6-year-old nephew with us, but it's a good movie. It's a fun movie. People need to relax.
So do you still think there's an age where this,
Yeah. Yes,
Nope.
I think there is an age limit, but your kids. You know how to talk to them. You know if they're gonna understand it. You know what I mean, and you're gonna know if it's appropriate for them or not. But as an adult walking into somebody's house, or as a babysitter walking in, I'm not gonna be like, hey, you're 10 years old, you should be able to watch this and understand everything that's going on in it. No, because I don't know that kid that well. But as parents, you guys know your children and you know what they can handle and how they can take it, the discussions that you can have with them. So if that's the case, then sit down and watch it with them.
Yeah, if I was going to make an argument for this movie, it would be on the free speech issue alone. I think in a perfect world, there wouldn't be a need for a movie like this, because the humor that would exist would be funnier without the need for all the coarseness. That being said, it's not like I didn't laugh, but I feel like that's a failing on my part.
Lego, any key points to this movie that you just said, hey, we need a sequel?
We need a sequel. Man, South Park, I would say this was like the good old days of South Park's heyday, but they've been good for like 30 fucking years, man. Everything they've put out is like, we could sit here and list the episodes, right? And we're like, that's a good one. That's a good one too. And like, dude, how long do you have, Let's go down the list. But this movie is just another piece of a great lineage of hilarious content. And whether it's your humor or not, I think Josh is totally right. Like, they're out there and they're saying what they want to say, and they're not being held back by the censors. And maybe even the more that the censors push on them, the more they're going to find little loopholes and little ways to snake things in, and they're going to keep Yeah, exactly, dude. So I like South Park, and I think they're doing good work over there, even if some of the jokes are maybe a little offensive to certain people.
Hey, anything you want to add?
Yeah, they're the recipe that they have for being the turnaround time of being able to produce an episode and have that episode still be relevant as far as pop culture to be able to come out on the show. I think they got like a 10-day turnaround where if there's some kind of
they've done episodes in under 24 hours.
See, there you go.
The election episodes they did like right after the election, they scrambled and make the episodes in less than 24 hours, and they had the writing and the art all done by then.
And there's other cartoons like Simpsons. They push the envelope in different ways and whatnot, but the production time that they're able to pull off in South Park, it's ridiculous, man. It's amazing. And there's always I want to say an underlying sarcastic wisdom that's really wise in the stuff that they put out. I never see them if they're doing something cheap, it's a fart joke, but the real meaning of what they're doing, it's always legit. So I got to give those guys props for sure.
Hell yeah. Isaac, anything else just about this movie?
Dude, South Park is always going to be good. The movie just put an extra. It's way better than the Simpsons movie. I'll say it right now.
Oh, yeah.
100% sticks to the original content and pushes it, since it's a movie, and they skyrocket with all the cuss words and every crazy thing they can do. And they turned it into a musical, very highly underrated musical. and it's just fantastic all the way from front to finish.
Yeah, and apparently the South Park movie is canon, unlike the Simpsons movie.
Yeah.
So that's pretty. And I think, when did South Park premiere? 1997. So to do something 2 years after the premiere, instead of waiting 20 years the way the Simpsons did, no, definitely. Good old buckets. Isaac, start us off, baby. What's your
10 buckets? Because I love this movie. It's fantastic. It's funny. I can't say anything bad about this movie. 10 buckets.
Lego?
10 buckets, baby. Hits all the right notes, and yeah, can't say a bad thing about it.
Squats?
Yeah, I give it 10 buckets. It's a fun movie. It's, it's relevant, culturally relevant. I mean, yeah, there's nothing bad you can say about this one either. It's a musical, and I love musicals, so it gets 11 buckets for that.
Oh, 11 bucket. Josh,
11 bucket out there.
It's actually
your favorite musical.
For that very reason, that's why I'm going to take one away from you. Because I'm not a fan of music. So this one's going to get 9 from me. 9.
So it doesn't surpass Xanadu in your opinion.
Oh, no, Xanadu is amazing. We should, in fact, Nate, what you ought to do is you ought to dovetail our Xanadu review with this one, just so that people can see.
All right. With Liz 11, it's 9. We still got a perfect 10 going. Nate?
Oh, it's a 10. It's a 10. It's a 10 because, although some of the things, there could be an argument made that some of the things might be dated, the formula holds up to this day. So, and it was like we were saying with the Saddam Hussein piece, being the villain of the world before he became the real villain of the world. Like, there was just so much writing on the wall with this that it's like a freaking tarot cards of pop culture, this movie. So yeah, it's 10.
Yeah. And celebrity guests that they had to the voices, they had some people like George Clooney, Mike Judge, Eric Idle. They had everybody, the music, like I said, pushing the theme, pushing the story. It was amazing. So it's 10 out of 10 for me as well.
Awesome.
Yeah. And so with that, thank you guys so much. And I think we're going to be doing the Spinneroonie still.
We're going to take the host, though.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I'm out of order. Who's next? Was it Josh or is it?
It's Jason.
Oh, Jason. I'm going to hand it over to you, buddy. I've had the glorious opportunity of hosting for 2 amazing movies. So thank you guys very much. But I'm going to hand the reins over to my boy Jason down there, Mr. Scully Jew Joe himself.
That's right. Hopefully we get some good picks for next week.
Heck, we'll get them on the wheel, so.
It's going to be...
And with any luck, none of them will be selected, so. So, late to the party. Thank you guys so much. Longer, uncut, perfect 10 across the board. I said what I said. I'm Jose.
I'm Isaac.
I'm Jason.
Liz.
And Josh.
Xanadu.
I'm guessing I'm cutting out.
I'm Nate.